yeah, it seems to be going surprisingly well. Welcome back to Living with a Classic. I'm here with this customer's XJC, or the XJ Series 2 Coupe. And I asked you guys in the previous video, we just did a little update. Do you want to see an engine pull on one of these, since we've done a few, but you guys said yes, so that's what we're doing here. It's being completely torn apart for a bare metal respray, so we just have a rolling shell. Engine bay is going to be completely gutted. The only thing left is going to be steering wheel and parking brake, so we can move it. Everything else is going to be completely gutted. Interior is pretty much done. I have, like I see, the visors left to do, mirror, headliner, and a couple small details, but pretty much it's all torn apart in there. All the chrome in the rear is done. I need to do the front, and yeah. So I have it on charge at the moment because this thing runs really well. Mechanically, it seems to be spot on. I think the engine has been pretty recently rebuilt. It looks that way, at least. So I'm just going to run a really simple compression test on it. Yes, it's not going to tell me everything, but it's going to tell me something because it runs so well. We'll do that. If we find any anomalies in the compression test, I can have a look at that when it's out of the car and do maybe a leak down test or something. But since it runs really well, it's really on the button, I don't see a need to doing anything extra. So I'm going to do that really quickly, and then I'm going to start tearing things apart, and I'll show you guys really how this remove an XK engine from a Jag XJ. As you see, some progress has been made. I've done some of the not so fun things to show off camera. So radiator's out of the way, AC condenser, there's no gas in the AC at all. That's all out of the way. It's looking really good here. We'll bring you guys in for a close look in a bit. And then I've disconnected some other things along here, working on the exhaust at the moment. But I'll bring you guys in for a close look, show you what I've been doing, and then I think it's time to get this thing up in the air, do the mount for the transmission, prop shaft, all of that. And then it's pretty much engine mounts and tearing this thing out of here. So it shouldn't be that much longer until the engine is out of the car. See, a lot has been done, like I said, but the good news is I haven't found any more rust. Tiny bit of surface rust right here, but it's all in really good shape. They do love to rust right here. That's usually because there's foam here from the factory to seal around the radiator, and in certain climates, that will always stay wet, and then, yeah, that's not a good idea. These are, the hood hinges, bonnet hinges, and then you have the bumper mount here. And they slide into here. Oftentimes, these can be incorrectly restored, so someone might be cutting out some rot here and then just weld this together, and then you can't move these. But it looks like that's not the case here, so that's really good. Looks all original. And I do need to adjust one of them a bit, so that's really good. I will make sure these can get loosened up. Other than that, water pump, I know leak. Front main looks pretty good, but we'll see when the engine comes out. Disconnect the fuel line over here. Cut a couple things over there. I have this harness left to disconnect, the injection harness. The other engine harness over there is already disconnected. Exhaust is almost off. But now I'm going to get this thing, or the front of it, up on jack stands. And we're going to do the transmission mount, prop shaft, check speedo and all of that. Get that out of the way. And then it's really just the engine mounts. There's one right here, one on the other side. And then hook up the crane over there and get this thing up in the air. Everything is loose here on the transmission side. Prop shaft is connected. Speedo cable's right there. And the mount is completely loose. It's just on that jack stand right now. I'll remove that and support it with the jack when we start lifting it out. I've also done a couple small things here. So this is a manual car, so we need to disconnect the line here for the clutch. I've drained the reservoir there. I'm about to drain the power steering over here, so we can disconnect that as well. I'll keep the pump on the engine. We'll just disconnect the lines. And then I think it's really just engine mounts left. And yeah, I think we're getting really close. We're making some progress now. I haven't really started lifting it. I just put a little bit of support on it. And this is really the easy part now, because just disconnecting everything and marking everything, that's what takes time. Exhaust is loose. Engine mounts are loose. It's just sitting on there. I have a jack under the transmission, which is loose. Everything is marked and disconnected. What I did was the main power cable down to the starter and all that. I just disconnected that from the firewall, so that should come down with that. I did actually remember to do the braided ground cable, which I tend to forget. So I'm pretty proud of myself for that. Power steering lines, lots of things. So I'm going to start removing it. Like I said, I do not know about the gear shifter. There are some bolts that look so you can remove them, but I can't get to them where it is right now. So if I can't get it out with the gear shifter in place, maybe once the engine is out a little bit and the back of transmission is supported like on the ground, I might be able to get to the bolts to get that off if necessary. But I'm going to start the lifting now and start to juggle this big XK engine out of here. All right, so let's just start lifting a little bit. Exhaust completely sliding off. It will lift a little bit unevenly because both lifting hooks are on that side of the engine. Okay. So we should be off the jack in the rear now. Okay, we are. I'll lower that a bit, and we can start changing the level here. Get the back down a little bit. A little bit. Want to be careful and not hit the firewall, of course. We got plenty of room here. Get this clutch out of the way. Let's see how we're doing on the engine mounts. We're pretty much off them, so that's really good. Continue. And there we go. Slid off the last engine mount there. The whole thing is pretty much loose now. Yeah. Loose there, and we need to really get the back of the transmission down now because gear shifter's all the way up into the cabin. So I think we'll start trying to do that. Start to get it forward a little bit because then we can start angling it more. I just lowered the rear onto the ground car, and that helped me just get past the steering rack, as you can see. So the sump sort of has a hump in it, and that's past there. We're millimeters from the firewall in the back, and gear shifter is almost out of the hole. So pretty good. Continue going up and we'll see if we can make it with that attached or if I have to do something, but so far it's going really well. Let's try and lift it a bit more. Let's sort of feel how loose it is. If we can a little bit more and we can start moving it forward. Have a look what it looks like over here. Oh, that's good. We're moving away from the firewall now. And pretty good here. I'll put the gear shift in fourth. So we're just sticking up about this much. So I think if I continue this way, should be able to get it out. Next step would be to possibly roll the car back down onto the ground a little bit again. Seems like I have actually disconnected everything. That's really, really good. Exhaust is nice and out of the way. I'll check on the other side, just make sure that everything actually is disconnected. How are we doing here? Yeah, it seems to be going surprisingly well. So I think I'm going to continue raising it up. I would possibly need to angle it even more. Give me a little break. I gotta try to figure out if I'm gonna do something with the transmission or if we're just gonna try and angle it a bit more and get out of here. I actually think it's gonna work just the way it is. I jacked up a little bit because it was catching on that engine mount there, and it's sort of counterintuitive sometimes that you feel like you want the back to go down, but it wasn't coming down because the front was stuck. So now the gear knob itself is actually out of the hole. So let's try to pull the engine out a little bit. So it's pretty much loose there. Like I said, there might be a smart way of disconnecting this. I'm just not really aware of it. It's the first manual one of these 5-speeds I've dealt with. It's just coming really nicely. It's actually just that engine mount on the passenger side. Start catching on the sump there. But we're pretty much almost past that. It's just at the bell housing now. Almost there now. Still have space to the ceiling, don't worry. It's just my light fixture there. Gear knob is out of the way. Now we can go for another gear. Gotta get it up a little bit here to get that mount over there, but I think we can actually do that with just leveling the engine out now. I'll do that, and then this thing should be out. It works really well just to disconnect that positive over there, and I forgot to mention you have these two over here for the alternator, of course. This massive XK engine is almost out. Let's change the angle dangle here so that the transmission will clear the cross member. Just gonna move it a little bit. Okay, now we're clear here. I am, just because I'm really close to that light fixture, I'm going to get the car off the jack stand, get it down on the ground. But now everything is clear from here, nothing's going to touch it. Now we can lower it a little bit and pull it out the last bit. There we go, back on the ground, plenty of room. We can lower it down a little bit and then pull it out. There we go. We can level it just a little bit. If I have the helper, they could hold up the transmission a little bit, but like most of you guys, I'll work alone. And there we have it. One XK engine with transmission removed from this XJC. Alright, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed seeing that. Put the engine over here in the corner. I'm going to buy or build another engine dolly because all the ones are used up at the moment, and then I can sort of slide it around. I kind of want to put somewhere else, but I have an engine I'm going to disassemble, which is the old one from XJ6, and you guys want to see that, so that's going to be maybe in the next couple weeks or so. We'll see how things go, and then I can get that out of here and put that engine there. So it's in good shape, good compression, good oil pressure. We're just going to have a look. Of course, change out the clutch when it's out here. I think it has a noisy throw-up bearing, but we're going to see if that doesn't seem noisy when I take it out. Then we're going to have a transmission specialist just have a look at the transmission while it's out, because it sort of whines a little bit, but it sounds like a throw-up bearing. Otherwise, I'm going to continue disassembling this car. Next time you'll see it, it will be ready to go off to the body shop. We don't really know exactly when that's going to happen. It sort of depends on weather. We're coming up on Christmas, so we're going to try and take it there when the weather's not too terrible. I have contact with a transporter and all that. But I have some bumpers left to remove in the rear, dashboard, a couple other small things, and this thing is ready to go. Anyways, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with friends. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. It really does help out a lot. Until next time, I'm Adam. This is Living with a Classic. I'll see you soon.